Okay, I guess let's start this session. Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammed Zain, and I will be the host for this session today. So, starting about this session, the vision of Quaid Ventures, which is foster to leadership and create future leaders. QV has initiated this platform to invite industry leaders from Saudi Arabia to leverage Pak-Saudi corridor. Today, we have invited our esteemed guest, Mr. Asim Jamil, to share his invaluable insight. We understand that many aspiring entrepreneurs in Pakistan seeks answer how to navigate the challenging paths of starting and growing businesses in Pakistan and international market as well. So let me introduce our special guest for today's session. Let me give you a short, brief introduction about him. Mr. Asim Jamil is an co-founder and CEO of Tracking, and also the founder of Kite Venture as well. He is also on different involved in different ventures and have been on the seats of advisory role and strategic board members. His expertise is business expansion, partnership, international business. He is from Pakistan and currently living in Saudi Arabia and fostering different ventures as well. So, hi Asim, how are you?
Hello, Zen. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, thank you very much for joining me in this session.
So, Asim, let's start about this session. Please share a brief introduction about yourself and take it forward from there.
Great. So, as you have already mentioned, my name is Asim Jamil, and today this session it's a very interesting session journey of a startup CEO. And when we talk about startup and CEO, so these are two different words, which I would say that it has a big value and it has a big potential, which we foresee in the market. So I will start with the word CEO. So when we say CEO, so there are two type of CEOs. One is a CEO which we see as, or we have seen when we were growing and dreaming that okay, I would want to be a CEO. So we see the CEOs in multinational companies or big companies, and when they are over there, they have a big structure, they have processes, they have departments, teams, and they are running big numbers. And from there they are taking it up, and we get inspired from them. Oh, this is a CEO, and he's enjoying his life, and all that stuff. But actually when we talk about startup CEO, so it's actually a total other way around. So in a startup CEO, the CEO itself, like, he's the first employee of the company. He's the first one who is actually employed, first of all. And then when he comes, he sees that okay, fine, I have to make sure that I arrange all my things, my room, my office, everything myself. I have to clean myself. He's the office boy, he's the gatekeeper, he's the salesman, he's everything. So he actually comes in a journey where he has to build everything from scratch. And that's where the journey of a startup CEO starts. The first thing, when he has to come, he has to make sure that what his plans are, what is he really going to do, and he has to start going and building everything from a very scratch level and building it up to another one. So again, if I differentiate, it's basically it's the mindset. Now there is one CEO which is a job mindset, and there is a one CEO which is an ownership mindset. With all due respects, I'm not like discarding on the other ones, but what I'm saying is that there is a big difference in the mindset. And when we talk about mindset, so it's as simple as that. Like in a startup CEO, when you're building everything, you are also learning a lot of things as you go. You're actually not an original CEO, so you're just tagged with a CEO with a big position, but actually you have to build everything, and you have to make sure that you are coming up to the mark of that. So you face a lot of challenges, okay, and it's basically when you have not yet, I would say, when you have not tasted the loss or failure, so it is very difficult to make sure that you have the value of benefits or profits or success. So it's a total different mindset. So the moment you face that and you go into this direction, then only you are in a position that you can value that what things you are going through. So normally in a startup CEO, I would say it's like a tree. in which you have to give you're giving a shadow to all the people who are coming below you. You're giving them the shadow, you're benefiting them, you're providing them the benefits, and then the people will pass by, and then you will be still staying there, keep on grooming the other people and guiding them in that direction. So this journey, it's basically, it's a journey of a sacrifice. It's a journey where you need to be ready, that no one is going to come to you and going to ask you that, yes, Mr. CEO or the founder, that how are you feeling, how is your family, what's going on at your home. So it's going to be the other way around. You are the one who is going to be asking these questions. You are the one who is going to be supporting and facilitating all the other people and the departments which you're building. And then it's a fight for a cause. So you are actually fighting for a cause behind this, and you're spending many sleepless nights, which no one will know about it, and you are the one who is going through it and facing through it and going in that direction. So it's basically, uh, I normally say success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And in this, basically, most of the CEOs over here, like who are listening, the startups, I'm focusing more onto the early ones, and then going into the other stages. So they normally they dream big, and when they dream big, they see such visionary things which other people cannot see so easily. And when they are having that sort of an eye, what's happening is that a lot of people don't believe them. They laugh at them. They say that, oh, this guy is crazy. Okay, whatever he's talking, like on ground there is nothing really concrete available, but he's talking in the sky. He's talking big things, big shots. So you have to actually become deaf at that time. You have to become blind. You have to let the people say you're crazy. And if the people are not saying that you are crazy, and they don't laugh at you, it means that you're not doing something different or unique, and you're like a traditional thing which every on and off CEO or any other employee would do. So we need to make sure that when we are dreaming big and when we are going in that direction, there is a lot of sacrifice which you have to go through. And this sacrifice and these challenges can only be overcome if you have the right passion. If the passion does not exist, if you don't have a clear vision why you are doing this, you will end up in getting demotivated very soon. You will end up in getting into a negative zone. You need to have that burn in you. You need to have that hunger in you. You need to be resilience, that whenever you're going forward, there will be a lot of challenges. You will fail, you will fall, you have to get up. It's the belief system, it is the mindset which makes a successful startup CEO. So in short, I say that a startup CEO is basically, I would say it's a doctor. Okay, so this doctor is basically has to operate like a real doctor, and considering all others as patients, that he has to make sure that he's the one who is going to treat them, he's the one who is going to guide them, because it's at a very initial stage. And at that point, when you talk about a startup CEO or a startup, so you don't have those luxuries of getting high paid people, or those departments and processes and all those stuffs which you can easily speed up your business processes. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to make sure that if you have the burn inside, if you believe in what you are doing, and then you enter into this, then the life becomes enjoyment for you. So as you move forward, it becomes more enjoyable for you, and every morning you wake up with new energy. Despite all the challenges, you wake up with new energy and you're ready for the moving forward. And the other thing which again, we need to understand that we need to be ready with a lot of challenges on every hour. It can be like In 1 hour you are happy, in the other hour you are in a very angry mode, in the other hour you're having some disappointments, there are some challenges, the sales are going down, the things which you planned did not work as per the mark. And then on the other end, you're also looking for a rich girlfriend which you have to go and convince her to please, like, we need some funds and we need investments, and you need to be ready with that mindset as well. So you have multiple mindsets going on during the day. You are in like a roller coaster. So you have to be going up and down, and you have to manage it in the right way and moving forward. So now let me move on, like how this journey actually starts and what are those things which you normally need to take care of it, and which we also made some mistakes. And I tell the startups normally that whenever you talk about a startup or a CEO, so you're talking about starting with an idea. So when you say that this is an idea which you're working on, there are a couple of questions which I would suggest that all of us should be answering before even starting or thinking of starting any startup. So the first thing is that from where this idea came in. How did this idea really popped up in our mind? Was it that we were sitting in a coffee shop with our friends and you were having a discussion, this business is going good, or this business should have getting good money, so we should be entering into that? Was it that point that it popped up that, okay, fine, since I'm thinking of doing a business, or there's a hype created that, startups and there's a lot of funding coming and all that stuff, so should I start from there or where? So that's very important, that from where this idea came in. And then you need to answer the why question. This why question you should be asking maybe 3, 4, 5 times. That why did I think to start this? Why do I think that I need to get into this startup? Why do I think that this idea is the one which I want to do it? And what is the problem which I'm solving in this idea? What is the pain point which I'm trying to solve? Is it a Me Too concept? Is it a Me Too startup? Like, he's doing it and I will also do it the same and I will do it better or something. Or have we created a niche within that startup? So when I say niche, in startup, it's like a cricket. So when a bowler is giving a ball, it's a slight twist in his ball, and if it hits the bat, it can either get bowled or it can go out of the boundary. So it depends on how you are really playing and how you're going into that direction. So it's, you need to be sure that what is that bowling tricks that you're going to do that will be different, that will bowl it out and or twist it in a way. That's one small thin line which you need to think, and that should be a part of your idea within whatever thing you're doing, whether even if it's something similar, but you need to find a niche within your idea or startup what you're doing. So when we talk about this, then the biggest mistakes which we normally do, we don't do the right research, we don't look around, we think that we know everything, and this is the one which is going to crack it, and we are going to do it in a different way. We don't do the right research, we don't do the SWOT analysis. Remember one thing, that whatever we are thinking today, or we think that this is an idea which there will be a very high probability or a possibility that it is done somewhere around the world, something similar, but maybe in a different circumstances. So it is important that you do a good research in that particular idea or business, whichever you're doing, and analyze the market potential and do a detailed market analysis and the competitor analysis. Until or unless we don't do this, we should or we must not start our startup. It's better to spend as much time in the planning rather than just jumping into an execution of an emotional idea, or a group of people coming in and saying that yes, we can do it, and committing that, okay, fine, if we are able to do it, we'll be able to get the funding and we'll be doing that. So we need to come out of that funding mindset. First of all, we need to make sure that whatever business we are doing it for ourselves, and we need to make it profitable, and we need to scale it. Scalability is very important whenever you're doing any ideation or any business plan or whatever you think that you want to do with your startup. Then the second thing, which very important, which comes in, is the right business plan, the right financial plan, the right marketing plan, and then how to execute it. We most of the time we actually just have a short term of an approach, and we just say let's start it, and we will do this, and we based on certain excels we think it's a wow, and we are just going in that direction without going into a detailed due diligence or detailed planning and having a clear execution plan of it. So remember that you need to have, after the research, you need to have the right business planning and financial planning. Financial planning is very, very important. And without a real financial plan, you must not be starting any business. And here I also emphasize that having a good finance person or a co-founder or a good resource of a finance with you before even starting is very important, that he will give you all the negatives. So he will tell you all the negative sides from that aspect, and then it's your decision. You know the downsides, and now you can take the risk factor, that how far you want to go and how you want to go. And then you make short term and long term plans. You do not make a 3 year or a 5 year plan directly. You make a 3 year, 5 year, but split it down and make it into a short term plan of a quarterly and a monthly, and then see that how I need to go forward on it. Then one more important thing, which we think that funding is very, very important in startup, and sometimes we are starting a startup because of funding, and we think that we'll be raising funding, and we must be going in that direction. So funding is important, there's no doubt in that, but it is not that important in the early stage, whereby the business model is more important. The team building is very, very important. If you have the right team, I'm telling you, it is much more valuable than the money or the cash or the funding you're looking for. And if you get the right team around you and you build the right team and you're able to set up rightly any of your business model, then the other path becomes easy. But there is a very technical thing in the team building. When you're building a team, the first thing which the founders do is they start pulling it up with partnerships. They start pulling it up with co-founders and founding members and all that. This is a stage where you need to be very, very picky, very, very careful, and you need to have the right partnership in place. This startups, again, why I initially differentiated a conventional CEO model where you have all the luxuries, you have all the facilities, and a model where you have nothing, you have to build everything. You have to build the process. You have to build everything rightly. So it is important that the first partners or the first team members, the first 10 people of the company are very important, that whom you are choosing and whom you are taking it on board. If you make mistakes at this level for any short-term gains, this is going to cost you very high in the long journey. And it's a very high sign of failures. So a right partnership is very, very important. You need to make sure that whenever you are having a partnership, the goals are very clearly set. The vision should be aligned with the founder or the founding members, exactly the same. They should have the same vision, same target, and they should have the same burn. They should have the same ownership. They should have the same pain. They should believe in the concept. They should know that whatever the leader is doing, it's right, and we believe in the same concept. And they should have aligned goals, strategies. And after that, it should not be a model like, a 50-50. If I'm two partners, so I'm a 50-50 partner. If I'm three partners, so I'm a one-third each of us. This is a big disaster in a startup partnership. It is very important. Why I'm just trying to give a little bit more time on this, because most of the cases which comes on my table related to the startups, when they're going for a funding round, they are having challenges of their cap tables, which are not correct, which are built in as per the conventional model, that it's a 50-50 model or a one-third, 30% each. So you need to make sure that who is adding which value, and there are certain calculators to get that thing done, and there are certain policies and procedures to get that thing done in the beginning. And when you start that partnership in the beginning, it is important that you set very clear strategies of the cap table. You set ESOP, you set investor share, you set advisory board member share, and you have that already in the pool, so that you don't need to further negotiate, and you have that luxury through, you going in that direction. And then you set your internally sweat equities, that how you're going to set that sweat equities. Remember one thing: if there is no sweat, there is no equity. If someone is coming on pure salary, it's a job mindset. Be very clear: a job mindset and a startup mindset, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. You cannot compare a job mindset with a startup CEO mindset or a founder mindset, because in that journey there are sacrifices. And I'm saying sacrifices, it's a continuous journey of sacrifices for 1, 2, 3 years maybe, and then maybe you will come to some stability or stuff. So again, team building, you need to be very important. You need to set up rightly. It's a long session on that side. We can have it some other time. Anyways, so moving forward after this, the brand building is very important. Once you finalize your idea, your plan, and your team, and then you move into that, so your brand building is very important. This is mostly, I've seen, like most of our startups, they don't pay much importance on this, and they take it very casually. Look, your brand is your identity, your logo is your identity. We need to, invest and spend much more time and a bit more money on this in the beginning, because that is going to go for life. And that's where it's important you choose the right colors, your mindset which you want to predict, your vision which you want to predict. So the brand building is very important. In that brand building, we think it's just the logo and the website. No, it's the logo, it's the website, it's the profile, it's the social media, it's the blogs, it's the exhibitions, it's your like your t-shirt branding, your cars, etc., etc. Whichever way you're talking, what words you're choosing, what core values you're choosing, what is the wordings which you're choosing in your profile or in your website. All that is eventually going to predict based on your brand. So this is very important, brand building, before even you get into the market. You have to be very clear on that, your message, your taglines, everything. And then after that, it comes that, okay, fine, I have finalized my idea, I have made the very detailed business plan, I've set up the like-minded people in the team, and I've set up a right brand with me, which I think is the one. And then your heart and mind gets done perfectly, and then you move on to the product building. So when you come into the product building, so I'm talking mostly more related to the tech side. Okay, so when you're talking, it's a tech startup. So okay, so in the tech startup, one of the very important things is the product, the technology, and it's linked with the IT. And when we talk about IT, the one of the biggest mistakes which we also did, and which mostly we do, we just think that it's as simple as that. We call a developer or an IT expert, and we see, okay, fine, we want to do it, and we just think, oh, we can do that, we can build this, and we start building it without going through a certain process of a product building process. So this is again, if you notice, I'm focusing more on towards the planning side. Then if you like, there's a well-known saying: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So the 90% of the time, if you spend in planning in the first month, then it's only the 10% you spend after the first month. Then the 90% moves into the execution. But if you haven't made that plan 90% right, then you will keep on going up and down, and you will don't know what to do. So coming back to the product development, it is very important that you make a proper requirement document while making your technology product, which is normally we say BRD, business requirement documents, which we don't make it. We don't make the full requirements which is required by the business needs. We don't make the full wireframing and the user stories and a proper structure of the documents which we think the vision of the product is. So that translation from the business owner to the technology to the developers, it is very important you bridge that gap first before going to the development stage. And when you go to the development stage, you need to make sure two things very important. One of the key mistakes, if it's the IT related people who think that they are going to get into a startup and they are the founders, they are going to lead it. One of the key mistakes which they do is they think that the product is still going on and developing, and it might, it's going on enhancing, and it might need 1 year to develop. And remember, this logic or this mindset does not fly anymore. When Kareem started, they went into the market within 45 days with half-cooked things ready, but they started testing the market and they had the front end ready, and they went into the market and they tested, and they came back and they said, no guys, this is something we're getting a feedback from the market, we need to change. What we were thinking is not what is the market demanding. So we come back, we change those things, and then we fix it again. Okay, and we see that, okay, what we need to do. So the timing is very, very important. Remember, in the startup business, if you are late, and if you are late in all your product development or go to market strategy and everything, then it means you're not a startup. You are just, or you have a backup where you think that, okay, fine, I have 6 months, 1 year time. The ideal time for a product with a proof of concept to go into the market must be 100 days. If within 100 days you are not in the market and you have not launched the product and you have not started the testing and getting the market feedback, it means you are late already, whatever the logics are behind. So you need to make sure that how quickly you can translate your idea into a document and into an execution with going into the market with a proof of concept or an MVP. And then once you reach to that point, then it is important that you go to a point where you say that I'm looking for a funding round and I'm looking for an angel round. Because at that point, what happens is that you have already gone through a learning curve. You have already invested yourself, your time, your sweat, and you have reached to a point where you are able to show something. But without that, once the startups go before that for an idea stage only, normally their valuations are very low. And until unless it's a unique idea, which is something related to, not available in the market and people would believe, they might go into that strategy. Otherwise, the first thing an investor would look is that how much you have invested in this startup. If you yourself are not investing, if you're not invested your time, your money, your sweat, your friends have believed in you, your families have believed in you, they have given money to you, and they have backed up you, why would I invest in your startup? So a journey needs to be well explained and understood that yes, this is where we are getting into it. So again, when we talk about market validation, we enter into the market, we learn from there, and then we go with the funding round. And as we go with the funding round as well, we start updating our product based whatever changes we need. We do that, and based on the market feedback, we immediately take those steps. If we don't take those steps and we stick to the same mindset, no, I think I'm right and I'm doing that, and maybe you're right, but you need to test it. But if you're getting a bounce back again and again, you need to really get back to your drawing room and a boardroom and see that what is really going wrong. Why is it not scaling it up? So the thing, when I talk about all these 5-6 concepts which I'm talking about, then what happens is that normally the fresh new startups or the new startup CEOs or the fresh graduates who enter into the startup journey, they are not experienced or they are not aware of all these things, and they just jump into it without getting all these things ready. And that's where the challenges come in. And this is where the incubators came into the picture. This is where the accelerators came into the picture. And one other thing which we normally don't consider, which we should be doing in the beginning as well, is to have the right advisors with us, to have the right mentors with us, who can help us and guide us and make our journey faster, rather than we going through a learning curve again and again and falling and picking it up. So we learn from them and we take their advices and move forward. We form a right board structure, form a right advisory board structure, and we move on. At least these people, maybe even if they are giving you like few hours in a month, that's much more valuable because they are coming through all those journeys which you are just starting. So they can guide you better, but it's important that you choose the right people who can really add value within your startup. Again, team building is very important, whether it be an employee, a founding member, a board member, or whoever it would be, even an investor. Any investor who is just a cash investor is also okay for a short term, but not for a long term. Cash is important, but not that important in the long term. The importance is the team. The importance is the right network. The importance is how you can scale it and how you can be in that ecosystem, which is really adding value. The marketing, the networking, that's more valuable. So at certain point in time, strategic investors are more important rather than just the cash investors. So you need to think on that side as well. Now let me twist a bit, like let's consider now you have done all this and you're moving it, and you're in the revenue stage and you're moving into that. So when you're going in a year one or year two, when you're in the revenue stage, after getting a bit stable, when you're able to hire better people and you have a bit funding and you have a bit cash on board, then you need to hire the right team who can further scale it up. That's again an important. It's not important that the people who are coming along with you will be also continuing and taking it for further with the same pace. So maybe you need to have more better people than the founder CEO itself. So you need to have that acceptability, adaptability, that yes, I am not up to that mark. Maybe I need someone who can be better than me and who can take the company to the next level. But remember one thing, when you bring such professional people on board, there is always a change management process which comes in, which is another big challenge for a startup CEO, because he's coming up, he's building everything. He had been pampering a lot of people. He had been, going with all that structure. Now a new professional a person comes in, and he says, "Oh, what is this? This is something all done wrong. It should be redone." So you need to manage that important part, the change management, because at that time where you had no funds, you had no team, you had no office, you had nothing, you build that everything, and a person who comes from a fully built office and a process and everything, and he comes and he starts saying this process is all fake and this is not going to work. So you need to match and bridge that gap of a change management, which is very important, that you need to upgrade the current team, and you need to make sure that they also understand that it was a time where this is the team which built it. And if that team in a tough time can build this, then if they are given the right direction and the processes, they can turn around the game. So they need the right direction. It goes both ways. The team which has been going along with you, they need to have that capacity to learn, and the CEO should also be accepting that he should be knowing that I'm not a real CEO. I'm just tagged, but I'm trying to build myself as a CEO. And in that journey, I need to learn and upgrade myself as well. At the same time, all my partners, my employees, all of them have been in that journey where I need to make that education process continuously going on. So when we move forward, change management process, then most importantly, monitoring the performance and the progress. This is very, very important. The moment you lose that monitoring and you think that you're deviating from your original vision or your numbers or your forecast, you really need to come back and see where you're doing wrong and how you can improve that. Otherwise, it can become another challenge which cannot be sustainable. So that's one of the important things which you need to focus, monitor, and you need to have a 360-degree feedback about the company, about the departments, about yourself, about your teams, and take on an ongoing process of improvement. Now, we are talking about all the ideal stages, that, okay, fine, you have to do this, blah, blah, blah. But there is also a stage where you are not successful, where you are not ready. You thought of it and you jumped into it, and now you're thinking that you're continuously going in, and it's sounding like it's a love affair, and you are involved and you just don't know how to get out of it. So that's a very dangerous stage. It's very important that if your startup is not progressing, if it is not improving, if you're continuously knocking the doors and you're not able to get the right funding, and you're not able to get the right team on board, and you're not able to get the right traction on board, you really need to rethink again. You really need to see that where it's going wrong. Maybe the business model which you built was not right, and you need to have that acceptability to either change it. And if you have reached to a point, there is no harm to accept the reality. And even at that point in time, even if you have to think and go back, that no, I'm not ready right now, I want to go and find a job for me to stable myself and then learn something else, there is no harm. Remember that, don't consider yourself that you are involved and it's your life and you have to get it done, otherwise your life is finished. Life is not finished. Remember one thing, the memory of human beings are very short lived. We forget the things very fast. So if, and the other thing, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. People will forget very fast. If you're doing it for yourself, not for others, then you will be taking the right decisions. But if you will be just considering your surroundings, that what will people say, what will he say, oh, he failed, and I am a CEO, I'm this. So guys, you are a CEO and you are a successful CEO only when your business is working and only when you have cash in your pocket. Okay. But if it's not working and if the teams are not there, then it means you're going in some other direction and you need to rethink. And again, as I said, there is no harm in rethinking and going back to job for a certain time, or looking for another opportunity, or if you think you have the capacity and that burn and that eagerness and you still believe you want to pivot it and you want to go it, please do that. Don't burn yourself in till a level where you are not even able to come back to that corporate journey as well. So uh, one important thing in this overall, that whenever you're going forward this journey, you need to understand it's a payback journey. It's a continuous payback journey. As I said, you have to sacrifice, you have to teach others, you have to be an institute, you have to be like a shadow for, you have to be like a parent, you have to be like for everyone which you have to. So when you're going in that direction, one of the important things, so what you're doing is you're actually learning yourself as well, and you're paying back as well. The moment you stop paying back, or the moment you don't upgrade others or pass on the knowledge or get that right, your growth will get stagnant. And one important thing which we mostly make mistakes as well, and I had also made a lot of mistakes in that in the paying back, there are multiple ways. You should also consider when you're making your capital, or that's your personal decisions, but I'm just giving a thought from my side, that you should consider a certain percentage or portion to give as a sadaqah or a charity that should be done from this particular thing, because the vision should be very clear. As I said again, you should be aiming very high, and the target which you're doing is, it should not be money only. It should be a cause which you're doing. It should be a problem which you're solving. And you must consider a percentage or a part to be paid back. And that payment, okay, one thing is charity or money which you're trying to give or help. Uh, the other thing which you can do is you can create a learning culture within your startup, which can help to grow further, and that will help you to increase your startup to a next level. That's very important. So the learning things are, so I will not take much time. I think I've already over on this one. The last message which I would give to all of you over here is that whatever you're doing, you need to make sure that you're doing it for a reason, for a cause, and do it for yourself, not thinking that what others will say or what this will say. And based on that, you need to make sure that you have the right surroundings with you, you have the right people connected with you have the right team connected with you. If it's because of the people and the team where the companies get built in, and it's again because of some of these people which the companies can fall as well. So you need to be very picky, very choosy. And I'll just close it on this note, that we this each of these points which I have mentioned, it has a long session which we can go into, like business plans, like partnerships, like IT and product management, XYZ. But the overall high level view, I wanted to just make sure that the journey of a startup CEO is not an easy journey. It's a very, very challenging journey, and especially when they have set up a session on today, which is the last day of the month, 31st of August, or the first on the next day. So you, all the CEOs or the startup CEOs, they can feel the pain what they go through on the last day of the month or the first day of the coming month, and how many sleepless nights they go through. So we actually need to salute the startup CEOs, because the journey which they go through is unbelievable, unmatchable. It cannot be matched with any normal human being or an employee which is going through that journey. And I salute to all those startup CEOs who take this risk and the challenge. And I welcome, if anyone needs any sort of help in this journey, we are more than happy to help them, to guide them, and to tell them wherever we can. Thank you very much. If there is any question and answers, I'll be more than happy to answer. We have, like, I think 15-minute slot, so we can quickly.
First of all, thank you so much for the detailed elaboration about the startup journey, and I can counter that every startup CEO, every person who is linked on the management side of the company is has been pressure in a lot of sense to continue this journey. So before taking some live question, and many people have asked some question in the social media, I want to ask you a quick question. Given your extensive experience in both the Pakistani market and Saudi Arabian business landscape, how do you see these two markets mutually sustaining and coexisting, especially considering the ongoing condition in Pakistan? So, what are your thoughts on this?
So I think one of the things which we recently started is that we are trying to connect a lot of Pakistani startups into the Saudi region, and helping them to coming on board, either themselves or through our help, or to the go-to market, whichever we can. One thing which I would like to mention over here is that, like, almost on a weekly basis, I interview a lot of startups who approach for funding or reaching to Saudi. Uh, I see there is a lot of potential in the Pakistani startups, and there's a lot of good talent which is available. But due to the lack of exposure, and due to some unfortunate situation back in our Pakistan, the human talent is just getting wasted, and people are trying to just go out. And that my suggestion to all of these startup CEOs would be that they need to also think cross boundaries. They need to see how they can scale their program in a way, like, there are a lot of SaaS programs which are coming into the picture. So they need to think that how they can plug and play and move into that direction. They need to really think out of the box as well, and looking into what do you call crossing the boundaries and seeing the opportunities over there.
Okay, perfect. So we have our first listener, and she is basically, her name is Anika Hussain, and she is from Lahore, and she wants to ask you a question. Let me add her to the stream. Yes, Anika, you are live. Please ask your question. Anika, your mic is mute. Can you unmute that?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Sure. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Anika Hussain, and I belong to Lahore. And I run a startup company that is basically for the production house, which is totally focusing on event coverages and other videography and photography stuff. So there were many people around me who were doing the same business, but have expanded their business to other countries as well, like Dubai, like Saudi Arabia, and even in UK they have gone. So I do not know. Actually, I am not very practical in this. Maybe I do not know how to expand my business to those countries.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can have a detailed session on this particular question as well, because there are a lot of strategies which can be applied. But a short answer for this, which I would like to say, is that first of all, as I said, that within your domain you need to find what niche are you in, and how different are you in, and what is the specialty that people would choose you rather than others. And it can be anything, like, which you think is different. So you need to have that SWOT analysis and the strategy well defined for that. And secondly, the business which you are in, it's currently on a very high demand at this point globally as well. So you need to find the right partners in those regions which you're targeting or focusing on, and you need to see that who are also in the similar line of business. Because when we talk about this type of business, so when you talk about, let's say, Middle East, Saudi, UK, US, so over there the charges or all these things are very high compared to what we are doing it in Pakistan or Egypt or Jordan or India, wherever we are planning. So what happens is that they normally outsource most of their work. So we need to find the right strategy how we can get to connect it to the similar line of business, not the customers, but similar agencies or stuff. And we can also get referral or other businesses which we can scale up on website. But again, there are many other things which we can, if you want, we can have another detailed session on that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So now we have Mohammed Hashir from Jhelum, Pakistan. Yes, Hashir.
Hi, sir. It was really insightful session. I would like to know that what are the things that you will observe in a startup as investment perspective?
So from the investment perspective, right now, based on the global situation which is going on, it is very important for the investors to first of all see the profitability of that startup and the scalability of that startup. So the burn rate is one thing which is also seen, but right now the value of the burn rate and just burning and scaling it up is not going to make sense. So the business model, very important. The team, very very important. Then after that, your the revenue size and how you're scaling it up, your marketing strategy, and what if that model, if it's not working in one market, how that can be scaled it up in another market. That comparisons. Then after that, we can see that how like what sort of support you need in terms of the investment, because some businesses, they only need marketing support. So that's a very clear strategy for the investor that, okay, fine, if I invest in the marketing, so it's going to even come back and it's a profitable business. So that's an easy match on that. Some needs, IT expansion, some needs operational expansion. So it goes very detailed sort of a work on understanding the requirements and the priority. I have already told you that your business model, your team, your scalability, what you have done in the past, the history, that's very important.
Okay, before taking in other live question, let me add some question from social media. So there is from our Facebook platform, Talha is asking, can we shift our business model when our initial approach are not yielding the desired result? Because many CEOs face this concept because they started embarked on a journey and some things are not doing the right way and they are not achieving those results. So do they have to convert the business model, and what is the perspective of the investor on this?
Yeah, so it's from the investor perspective. So there are two ways. One is internal and one is external. Internally, you must, as I said, timing is important. If within 100 days you have gotten into the market and you have spent another 6 months, a year, and you're still not able to grow or establish or build something, so you need to see where the things are going wrong. Is it the business model? Is it the mindset? Is it the funding? Is it where you need to evaluate that? So if the business model is making sense, then it means you need to see where the other components are not complete, which you need to complete it. But if you have believed, all the team together, that yes, it's a mistake and we want to shift or pivot or move it. So pivoting again, like you are into logistics business and now you start delivering groceries, okay, and saying that I'll be a marketplace of a grocery. Okay, so it's a total shift. So you have set a mindset of your brand based on that, because you have set the brand building based on that. So I normally give an example, like Toyota. Like if Toyota, if we over here in Middle East, it's a very high volume based car being sold. But when we talk about Toyota came up with expensive car like an Avalon, okay, matching a BMW or a luxury vehicle of that size, it could not be sold, because you had set the mindset based on that it's economical and it's cheap and it's it's a long term sort of. But BMW, if I come in and start selling at like a lower price, so it means I'm going to compromise on my brand value again, on a quality or something. So BMW can be sold at that price, it will not be sold at and Toyota cannot be sold at a BMW price. Okay, so when you're pivoting or you're moving from one business to another, you need to think that what is the synergies with your current brand and how you're going to move that, or you might need to change the full brand and strategy. So I'll give you one live example of our business model. We are into IoT fleet management solution, which is tracking.me. When we started off this business, our business idea was Uberization for trucks. And our name of the brand was Chillagos, chill and go smooth. That was our brand, and we were started from that. And we spent about 3 months to make the application ready and go into the market. And when we were going into the market, we were taking the drivers on board, and we were facing a lot of challenges. We used to pay extra cards, telco cards to the drivers, and to bring them on board, take their data, and after that they didn't used to use our app. So we went to the 5th month, and we realized that we are continuously burning and there's no revenue coming in. And we thought that this business needs a lot of money to really invest and then on. So either we get back to the investors and bring that amount of money, or we think that we have to. So what we decided, that we are going to live within ourselves. We are not going to take any money from outside, and we are going to. So we changed our business model. And at that time, we moved into a tracking fleet management solution system as a SaaS model for the transporters. And when we moved into that, the government came up with a new regulation that all has to be mandatory. So we were lucky enough, the timing was very good for us, that we entered into this business, and we got a lot of business scaled up immediately. And at that time, right now we are getting all the documents and all the drivers and live data, and they are with us, and they are providing us. We are sitting and they are providing us that. So now if we want to move to an Uberization, it's a click for us because we have all that. So, but we changed the logo, the brand, and everything. The company legal name remained the same, but the brand and logo, everything, we changed it to tracking.me. So it's again the mindset which you're going to build it. If it is set with Chilago or like an initial brand, and you think it's a total different model, it's better to change it rather than sticking with the same. This is
So
just
we
my
have to
suggestion.
understand the pivot. Is it taking to us into the right direction? If yes, then we should do that pivot. So we have the next question from Khwaja Savi. How do you approach competition and market disruption in your industry? Because many entrepreneurs, if we talk about Pakistani industry, so if you can see the wave of marketing industry, so everybody started marketing. So it is very saturated marketing market right now. So how to differentiate from other competitors and to exist in this same market?
So basically, when we talk about this word, it's becoming a buzzword, disruption. It's a very big word, okay? And when we talk about disruption, so it means that you are really going to create that turbulence with your business model or an idea, and you really need to well thought of it. That what is that turbulence or disruption you're going to make? So is it really a disruption, or it's just a buzzword? Okay, that's the first thing you need to do. The other thing is, look, remember, the competition is everywhere, and the competition is in every business. And for me, which I see as a startup CEO, competition makes me more energetic, makes me more challenging, and it makes my mind more effective to think that how I can be different from the competition. So I think of all those things. I take all those points, features, whatever the competition is offering, and I see the gaps which is still in the market, and then I bridge that, and I see that here I need to be different. And then I start working on that, and then I can create a differentiation and a disruption concept. Otherwise, if it's a me too concept, then I cannot add any value. Or if it's a price conscious concept, then I'm stuck.
Okay, let's take another live question. We have Hamza Ali. Hamza, you are live now. Please ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Sir, I'm Hamza Ali from Faisalabad. So I would like to ask that at the current economy of Pakistan, an individual is afraid to take risk. So how can we convert that fear into productive turning point?
Very good question, and honestly, we are also trying to see how to change this thought process. But it's really disturbing, and based on the situation. So I think one of the key things which we can start off, or we can think of, which I normally advise, is first of all, let's see what is within our surrounding and how we can create an impact within our surrounding. And that starts from our own house, or the street or the village or the area where we're living in, and see what are the pain points which we can address from this particular thing. Remember one thing: whenever you are going to a certain cause, you will not be left behind and you will reach to a certain success. It might not be big or small, and the success does not mean that it should be only money. It can be many other things other than the money as well. So it depends on case to case basis. It depends on your expertise. It depends on your ideas, your wishes, your thought processes. But I feel sad to say that mostly currently the mindset is that we are done. We cannot do anything in Pakistan, and we need to think. I think this mindset is a bit not 100% correct, but yes, the feelings go around this. But when we sitting in the outside Pakistan, we see Pakistan as a very big market, 220 million plus population. And when we talk about any business, it's all about the people, the retail, the population, all that stuff. It is linked with that. The business is all linked with that. So there is a significant volume which is available in Pakistan. The only thing is, and I pray and I request all of us to pray that our situation of our country improves better, and we are able, because I see a lot of opportunities still available in Pakistan. All what we need to create is that, just imagine the last, let's say, 3-4 years, the overall ecosystem changed, the overall mindset was changed. In a very short span of time, investors started building in that concept because they already believed that it's a very big market and a potential. So it's not far. Inshallah, we hope that soon things will change, and maybe it might go into a positive direction, inshallah. And then the opportunities will open. But till then, you need to think of a strategy, something which can work on export, which can work on a SaaS model, which can also be scaled it up outside Pakistan, which can work on something which can leverage and benefit the Pakistani economy, cross borders, as I said, and think on those type of solutions.
Okay, perfect. So let's take our last live question. We have Zainab Khan from Islamabad. Yes, Zainab, you are live. Please ask your question.
Hi, I am Zainab Khan and I belong to Islamabad. It is commonly said that a first startup company of a CEO is a fail. My question is that were you ever scared of a failure?
So I think my first sentence which I started was, okay, let me explain it in Urdu. Maybe it might be कि अगर किसी ने कभी नुकसान नहीं चखा तो उसको फायदा या उसका क्या उसकी इंपॉर्टेंस का क्या पता होगा. So we should not be afraid of failure. Failure is one of the important elements or things for success. And like, if you have not failed, then it means like all the people, successful people, they have all failed, not once, maybe many times in their lives. And mostly the first startups have not been very successful. So we should not be afraid. We should believe that yes, this failure is a learning and an earning for us. And this will help us to move to the next level. If we think that all the successful CEOs or all the successful startups, they have never failed, so we are totally wrong. And I am one of the examples. I have not failed once, but maybe 2-3 times, and then got into a successful startup. But if that failure, so what happens is normally our surrounding again makes it, oh, this is a failure. Okay, oh, he could not do this. Now how he will do this? And which is true. People start, the belief concept starts going down. Your confidence starts going down. So it depends on you that how you need to make yourself more confident, energetic, and come out of that fear factor. And that's why I said the circle which you are in, the positivity which you are in, the positive mindsets, the people who have gone through these failures and reached to the success, they will take your hand and they will tell you that no, don't worry, it's okay. Let's learn from the failures and let's fix it in the next startup or whatever things we are going to do in the future. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. I guess that will be all. Yes.
Last question,
Uh,
and then
yes, we have a couple of questions. Let me see. Um, okay. Muhammad Usama is asking, what are the ways that make us comfortable in investing some businesses? So, in the perspective of an investor, if we have money, we want to invest. So, what things we need to look while investing in any business?
so again, it depends on investor to investor and its vision and mindset. Some investors are looking for a certain market, so they might take a certain level of risk. Some investors might be looking into early stage, so they might be going with a limited ticket size. Some investors might be looking into only growth, so the revenue stage, growth stage. Some will be only focusing on profitability. If it's profitable, I would help to scale them up. So it depends on the mindset of the investor, and that's also one of the important points which we as founders need to see, that which type of investor are we looking for. Are we looking for an angel investor? Are we looking for a seed investor? Are we looking for a series A, or whichever stage we are looking for? That's number one. And the other thing which is important, uh, that what category are you in. Then some investors are investing in logistics, some investors are investing in e-commerce, some investors are investing into fintech. So you need to get, if you so because you need to do your homework very well done. If you are into logistics and you are going to an investor which is a fintech one and is not interested in logistics, you are wasting your time and you're wasting his time. And remember, his time might not be that much wasted. It's you that not has not done the right homework, and you are wasting your time, and your time is very precious and very important. Yes. Ji.
Rightly said. That will be all for today's session, and thank you so much for the complete elaboration and discussing all the steps that we need to take care of while starting a new business, and what things need to be taken care of. It's about the team or branding or all the concept that will gonna play a huge role in the journey of that startup. So I will ask our audience, please let us know some useful topics that you want to listen in our upcoming sessions as well. So thank you, Asim. Thank you for your time today and sharing all the valuable insight about
Thank you
the.
very much. Thank you, Zain, and thank you all of the audience over here who have attended and who have. So I would just like to say that yes, maybe some of the questions might not be answered. You have
Yes.
the email and the contact details. If you want, you can shoot out and we can schedule a meeting with you guys. And the other thing is that it's an ongoing journey. So this is just a holistic view which I have explained today. If any topics which you think are relevant, or you are facing the challenges, or you think that that's one of the hot topic which you want to listen on, you can please give your feedback, and we will try our level best that we come back and we help you in that particular topic. Thank you very much. And
Thank
thank you,
you so
Zain.
much. Thank you.